Hi, I'm Colleen, and let's figure out what you're going to get your mom for the holidays this year. Obviously, this gift guide is not only for moms, but it's more for what traditionally the idea of a mom likes to get. So this is really for any adult in your life who enjoys cooking, gardening, interior design, and mysteries. None of these books are super bestsellers that you're going to find that they already have, most likely. I mean, obviously, if they're prolific in buying garden books, then you want to check their collection. But these are more books that I have found over the last couple years that I think are really beautiful and make good presents. Now, obviously, if your mom loves to cook, she probably has all the Barefoot Contessa books already, so I don't have any of those on my list. I have a few cookbooks that I think are wonderful, but won't necessarily be on the bestseller lists. We're going to start with gardening or any kind of flowers that your adult in your life might love. And the first one we're going to do is A Year in Flowers, and it is a book by the Floret Farms, who I follow on Instagram and have a gorgeous Instagram if you're looking to just look at beautiful flowers. This book is actually really educational, so I got it to help me put together my own floral arrangements if you are having a party or even if you are throwing a wedding. It is a great book with lots of beautiful, beautiful pictures throughout the entire thing. The coolest part of this is the author will show you a particular centerpiece and then exactly how to put it together. So there's no question as to how this happened, how this centerpiece looks so lovely. Also talks a lot about how you build a centerpiece in terms of what different elements you need to make it look cohesive. Like you want some stuff that looks a little airy and some stuff that is structured. She has an entire chapter on the fundamental ingredients for a centerpiece and what makes it work. And then some examples depending on the season and what works. It's a beautiful book. I literally spend so much time, just especially now that it's getting cold and dark again, just looking at these beautiful flowers and thinking about how I can't wait for spring. The next gardening book I have is Monty Don's The Complete Gardener. I bought this last March, I want to say, and right after that, he released a newer version. So the cover's not going to look like this, but it's probably going to be the same book. This is, you can see where I left off reading because it is, hundreds of pages long. But this is basically a guide for gardening, particularly cottage gardening, if you are into that sort of aesthetic, which I very much am. But there is just so much information in this book. So there's a lot of beautiful pictures, but there's also a ton of text on how to build a garden. If you have someone in your life who is already pretty adept at gardening, I'd still recommend it because I do think of myself as a pretty adept gardener. I grow food every year. I have a great flower garden as well. I've still learned so much from this book. So that's Monty Don's The Complete Gardener. Pretty much anything by Monty Don I would recommend because he is like a British rock star when it comes to gardening. And the last book sort of bridges between gardening and cooking, and that is Herbarium, however you want to say that. And I don't think it has an actual author. Oh no, Caz Hildebrand. This book is beautiful. So it is kind of a mix between an herb guide and a art book because every herb has this gorgeous, somewhat modern illustration along with it. So that's chives, which I think is so cool because, chives are basically just like little green shoots. It also has an explanation for each herb. It has how to grow it, how to use it in terms of what to eat it with, and then also what to use it for in terms of a medicinal quality if it has any. The pictures are so beautiful. It is really fun to just look through this book. I've actually read this book cover to cover, even though it's not necessarily the kind of book that you would do that with. Oh, I love that picture. But it's just a joy to look at. It's a very fun, aesthetically pleasing book. And it has a beautiful cover, which I feel like when you're getting someone a holiday gift, having the book really present itself well is lovely. Let's move on to cookbooks. Now, there is a series of cookbooks that I'm absolutely obsessed with, and this cookbook author does have a new one coming out, but not until I think April. So I would have loved to put that one on the list, but since it's not out yet, next year's. So that is the Forest Feast series by Erin Gleeson. Now, I've been following her since before she was a published author and was just a Tumblr account. Her recipes are amazing. They're extremely easy. They're all vegetarian, but they don't have weird ingredients, which is my favorite thing about these books. This is her original one, The Forest Feast. There's also The Forest Feast Gatherings, which is more about parties, and The Forest Feast Mediterranean, which is Italian, French, Spanish, and Portuguese food that she kind of adapted into easier recipes for the average American cook. The best thing about this book is it's so beautiful. She's both a photographer and an artist. So just looking over it is really fun because the pictures are gorgeous. None of these recipes have very many ingredients. So like I've made these. They're delicious. They're basically like fried leeks. They have 4 ingredients, and they taste really good. They're all easy to find ingredients, and I had a party a couple years ago before the pandemic started in which we used the Forest Feast Gatherings, which is the other cookbook, one of the other cookbooks, and we all made something out of that book, and we had a lovely, lovely time. But it's just a really fun recipe book with really beautiful pictures, and I don't think your mom, aunt, older sister, whoever will have it. And I really like recommending it because it's one of those cookbooks I use all the time. You can see my binding's broken. I use it constantly. The next cookbook I have is really more of like a indulgent cookbook because while I look at this constantly, I've never made anything out of it. But also, I bought this during the pandemic and we haven't really been in like a platter party mode since that. So it's Platters and Boards by Shelly, Westerhausen, and Wyatt, Worcel. This is also one of those cookbooks that's just like so beautiful to look at. They'll show you a board. Let me find a picture of a board. And then the next couple pages will have how you put that together, how you have this at your party. There are some really cool ones in here that I want to show you. They've got one for summer. There's some candy ones. There's a hot chocolate one in here. There's like a movie night board. Here's my kid's favorite. It's the ice cream board, all the different ways you can make sundaes. Wouldn't that be fun for like a kid's birthday party? California board. So it's just a lot of fun. It has a lot of good ideas as we do wind down this pandemic, hopefully in 2022, and we start bringing food to parties again. There's a lot of really fun, aesthetically pleasing ideas in this book. My last cookbook is Pies and Tarts, and it is by Kristina Peterson, Migoya, but it's also by the Culinary Institute of America. I used to be a pretty serious pie maker, and so this is definitely more of like a intermediate to advanced level cookbook. I wouldn't get this necessarily for someone who's just starting to learn how to make pies and tarts because it is a little bit more of a difficult level in terms of baking. I really like how in this right away right here it lists all the ingredients and how much you'll need in like a really easy to read list so that you're not getting to the pie and thinking, oh my gosh, I don't have whatever, coconut milk. I feel like so many recipes want coconut milk and I never have coconut milk. Isn't that raspberry tart beautiful? I would love to eat and make that. So I've only made a couple pies out of this because it is a little bit more difficult, but the ones I've made have turned out well. I know I made pumpkin for Thanksgiving this year and it was delicious. All right, next we're going to talk about interior design books. I am a person who loves interior design books. I love looking at other people's houses. I love looking at decor. I love looking at architecture. When I worked at the independent bookstore, we called our interior design section the house porn section. I'm definitely into it. So the first one is by, I think you say her name, Estee Stanley, and it's called Comfort and Style. And this follows a particular designer, and she has a bunch of pictures of the rooms she's decorated. And there's a lot of anecdotal stuff in here that she's like interviewed the famous people whose houses she has designed. And they have really varying tastes in terms of their decor style. So if you don't like looking at a decor book that's all by the same designer, thinking that every room's gonna look the same, hers is kind of cool because they all do look pretty different since she is working with different clients who have different expectations as to what their house is going to look like. Like, when you look like, not that there's anything wrong with Joanna Gaines, but like, and I have her book, Homebody, But those rooms all look the same. This is very varied. So if you want something that's a little bit more different, this is a great one in comfort and style. It's also a really nice gift book. It's sturdy, it's thick. Next is for your bohemian aunt or mom, and it's Jungalow, which is sold at Target, and that's where I found it. It's by Justine Blakenly, I think is how you say her last name. She also has a great Instagram under Jungalow if you want to check her out. I randomly saw this at Target and was like, oh, this is my style, because I really like boho, but I don't like sort of like the California boho that's like no color. As you can tell behind me, I have purple walls. I really like color. And this book is so much color. So if you have someone in your life who really appreciates a brightly decorated room, this is more like boho in terms of like the Moroccan style than the muted boho we've been seeing more of. And this is the style I love to look at because it is just really fun. She also has this section where she mixes 2 different boho styles. That's so much fun. So like this section, it is both West African and coastal. And so she gives you some inspiration pictures and then shows you a bedroom decorated in those 2 styles and how to make it work. Jungalow, so much fun. Decorate Wild is the subtitle, which I love. And the last interior design, and this one also is a little bit of architecture I have, is A Place to Call Home by Gil Schafer III. Now this book is interesting because it is by one particular architect / interior designer and 9 homes he has designed. There's a little bit of an intro talking about how you want the house to fit the landscape, which I love that because I always think it's strange when you find a house that just doesn't fit the landscape. Like I live in a really wooded area in the Midwest, and a block away from me there's like this Mediterranean style house which would be beautiful in Italy or even in like Florida, but it feels very weird here. So we'll go through each house and we get to see the exterior, you get to see all the lands, and then you move inside and look at how it is decorated. I would say that this book skews a little bit more on the traditional side. A couple of the houses in here have a minimalist feel, but most of them feel more traditional. They're not boho at all, or even like eclectic. So if you're looking for a book for someone in your family who maybe likes traditional design a little bit more, this is a good one. And lastly, I am just going to recommend 2 mysteries I think would be great for the women in your life or men, whoever you're looking at this video for. And one of them is a cozy mystery, and that is Arsenic and Adobo by Mia Manansala. I'm always afraid I'm gonna mispronounce her name. Manansala. Mia Manansala. And this is a wonderful cozy that is very food description heavy, which I love. It is about Leela, who has come home to help her aunts with their restaurant, and she had been living in Chicago and now she's back living in a small town, but there's like this amazing restaurant scene in this small town, and her ex-boyfriend, who she is not in good terms with and has been writing terrible things about her restaurant, drops dead while eating there. And she obviously becomes the #1 suspect. This is a super fun cozy if you know someone who likes watching sort of like Murder, She Baked type movies on Hallmark. This is a great book to gift. And the last one is for your relatives, friends who want a mystery with a little bit of a darker edge, and that is The Sea of Lost Girls by Carol Goodman. I love Carol Goodman. This one takes place in a boarding school in upstate New York in the dead of winter. It's very atmospheric, very creepy. There's a lot of local folklore legends going around. We follow an unreliable narrator whose son seems to be involved in the death of another student. I love this book because the narrator doesn't trust herself and you can't trust her either as to what's going on. We also jump back and forth between present day and her past when she had something pretty terrible happen to her when she was in high school. This is the darker one. This is obviously a darker mystery than Arsenic and Adobo, so if you want something light, definitely go for that one. But this is for the people in your life who more like watching things like Mayor of Easttown or SVU. It's definitely like a grittier feel. And that is my gift giving guide for the mom in your life. I will not be doing a dad one, mainly because I just don't read enough right now. that is like traditional dad, my recommendation would be to do what I do, and that is to go to your local bookstore and talk to the person who specializes in the department that your dad most likes to read in. Have a wonderful, happy rest of your December. Bye.